Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
The die-hard batteries you know and trust are now at Advance Auto Parts. That means all the reliability, durability, and power you expect now come with free testing, free installation, and the unrivaled expertise of advanced team members. And you don't even need an appointment. When it's time to hit the road, stop by Advance Auto Parts to start strong with a die-hard battery. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Mark down another Division I talent set to join the ranks with the UWF football team. The Argos announced the addition of former Ohio defensive back Devontae Mitchell on Friday afternoon. Mitchell played in 10 games last year with the Bobcats, who finished 7-6 last season. Mitchell will join the 9 other Division I transfers this season as Coach Shinnick and the Argos look to repeat as national champs. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Tyler Strain for the Pace Patriots. After a standout performance at the Combine in late June at the home of the Dallas Cowboys, Strain has been invited to play in the Blue-Gray All-American Bowl this winter. Although he is a versatile player on offense for the Patriots, there is none better than Tyler in the secondary. His 4.4 speed in the 40 tells only part of the story as his coaches rave about his love for competition. Strain has offers from Illinois, USF, South Alabama, and Tulane, to name a few. And with the Patriots looking to get back on their winning ways this season, Strain is not a young man you're going to want to miss on Friday nights. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Gathering at Pensacola Beach is a wonderful family experience. If you thought of having a family celebration or an amazing beach wedding, there's a very special home now available, Casa de Luna. Casa de Luna is spacious with room for large families. It has 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms. Casa de Luna is a large private home with a refreshing pool and water views. The pool can be heated for swimming in colder months. Casa de Luna is unique in that the main living area is directly on sand level. It's very convenient. Bedrooms are both on the sand level and upstairs. One bathroom is handicap friendly and another has a new jacuzzi. And there's a large gaming porch with pool table, foosball, hockey, ping pong, and Xbox One. Bicycles are provided. Bring your family to Casa de Luna on Pensacola Beach.
For information, call Casa de Luna owner Tim at 791-6400. That's 791-6400. 791-6400.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Welcome to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody's, of course, doing well, staying safe, washing your hands, continuing to social distance, and hopefully, well, throwing on a mask. Not trying to start anything, just throwing that out there. It's to protect everybody in this time. We understand how serious the virus is. It is real. Every single life is very important to us. And look, if throwing on a mask, if you can, obviously, helps at all, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just throwing that out there, not trying to spark anybody, get anybody mad when we start the show off. Listen, we've got a great show ahead for you. Got a lot of stuff, a lot of breaking news that's happening. Look, it seems just like the virus with NFL. MLB starts today. NFL's getting ready to ramp up here soon. NBA's getting ready to get rolling. NHL. So, look, we're starting to get some things back. So that's a good sign, especially when we're talking about football. I think the MLB playing today is very important as well, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. Look, as we always start off our show, we'll continue to do so, and it goes without saying, but we're just going to say it anyway because we need to. We want to thank our first responders and healthcare workers this time. And look, like I said, every day, friends and family on both sides of this, I talk to them usually every other day at least, and the support they get from the community is great. I think that's first and foremost awesome. Shout out to you guys here in Pensacola area. For helping those folks. When you see them out and about, we'll let them know that you appreciate what they do. But look, those folks, they enjoy their job. It's tough right now for a lot of them. It's tough for our first responders, our healthcare workers out there. And I know there's a lot of unrest in our country. And I say this every day, but I just want to make it clear that don't let a few of those bad eggs ruin it for everybody, because we are blessed to live in a community in the surrounding areas around here. We have some great first responders, from police officers to firefighters, EMT personnel, all the first responders, all the nurses, doctors. We have some great ones here. We are very blessed to live where we live and to get the support we do. So just throwing that out there for folks. Like I said, not trying to spark anything, but that's we have so many great people. I'm friends with a bunch of them, and I'm proud to call them my friends because I know where their heart is in all this, and they're trying their best to protect people the best they can and get people back to normal and get people healthy. But with that being said, I do want to send a shout-out as well to grocery store employees, truck drivers, all the essential workers. Maybe you didn't know you were essential, and then COVID-19 happened, and in March you realized how essential you were. And so all those folks out there, we appreciate them. Look, the truck drivers are the silent heroes in this. The grocery store workers, I think they're very important because we all need groceries, well, no matter what it is. And those folks are there restocking, getting everything ready. Of course, they're wearing masks and protecting themselves and trying to protect us as well, no matter if it's sanitizing things a little bit more than they used to. So if there's rules you got to follow inside there, just do it. Okay, we're all going through this together. We're going to be stronger from this. And you know what? We're going to get back to some football, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We've got, like I said, so much news to get to. But first things first, Coach, how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, JP. Look forward to it as always. And again, you do a great job of thanking those people that we all should be thanking, and I just have to second that every day. And let's continue to do that, and also to show the gratitude that these people deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. These folks, and Coach, I know we do it every day, and some people may be like, well, you don't have to say it every day. I just believe we do, because we want to let people know how important they are to us. And it's always important. If you walk out of the house and you're growing up, I always knew you always told mom and dad you loved them. even though you may be mad at them, because you know what, you want them to know you appreciate them and you love them to death. And I go about that in my daily life. You always tell folks if they mean something to you, you let them know. It's very important. So, look, we got so much to get into, Coach. I'm just going to jump into it. Enough about my family life. Look, the Gulf South Conference. Now, we've been wondering, with all the stuff going on with Division I football, we've heard, of course, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten going conference only, making that decision. The Ivy League and the Patriot League going ahead, along with some of the HBCU conferences there, going to the spring and canceling their athletics in the fall, moving or postponing to the spring there. We've been kind of wondering. We talked to Coach Shinnick, and Coach Shinnick hadn't heard anything yet. Of course, they've been planning just like they're going to play a regular season, but they also have other plans in place. Well, the Gulf South Conference said they will delay the start of intercollegiate competition in the fall semester to either the last week of September or the first week of October. Now, the Board of Directors, of course, approved this delay on Tuesday afternoon and provided, of course, a period of time for institutions to inform their student-athletes. Now, they're working across the league jointly on a schedule that fits the timeline for competition in an effort to provide a meaningful fall competition season for conference members. To accommodate this new schedule, soccer, volleyball, and football will exclusively play against conference opponents. So that will cut out a game or two here for UWF, but nonetheless, they'll be playing a conference-only schedule this year. Coach, of course, they're working to get official practices and all that kind of stuff instituted right now. The new schedules and additional details will be obviously released as soon as they get approved by the membership, and I know Coach Shinnick and them are working diligently right now to get that taken care of, as if they don't have enough on their plate already. But nonetheless, Coach, I know, look, we hate that because of the big matchup. When you're talking about Texas A&M Commerce, we were looking forward to this year to open the season. Nonetheless, we'll have to postpone that a year, and you know what? It is what it is. I'm sure Coach Shinnick is a little disappointed, as well as the players are. But to me personally, I think I won't speak for them, but I think we're probably on the same mindset of it is a positive because it's a sign that they're planning to play football this fall.
Yeah, I would agree, and it's not surprising, given the circumstances, that they are going to reduce maybe to some extent with a conference-only schedule. Certainly, the number of games will be reduced. And like you say, Texas A&M Kingsville, that was. Gosh, that was a big one. But I know, and I agree, I know they wish they could play that, especially with this year's team. I think they're loaded, West Florida, and would have been a great matchup. But, hey, go win the conference. This is the toughest, probably one of the toughest conferences for schools this size in the country, if not the toughest. So go win it. And the appropriate accolades will come when you win this conference. So we'll be looking forward to that, and I'm sure these guys will do a great job.
Yeah, looking at it, Coach, and I'm not sure, I haven't gotten the full word here. I'm sure we'll figure it out soon. Talk to Coach Shinnick, Brian Henry, and those guys over there. But they have the updated schedule on their website, and that's at goargos.com. You can check it out. But, of course, they have them opening September 19th right now against North Greenville. So they've already removed that game from Texas A&M Commerce off there. And then, of course, playing that game is on the road in South Carolina. The first home game would be September 26th against Shorter at Blue Wahoo Stadium right now. October 3rd would be Delta State on the road. Homecoming October 10th against Valdosta State. And that'll be fun there at Blue Wahoo Stadium. On the road at West Alabama October 17th. October 31st. Back home against West Georgia, and finishing off the season right there November 7th against Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi. The one thing, Coach, that we will say, and I know you know this just as well as I do, Coach, the conference-only schedule is tough enough as it is. I mean, when you're talking about playing teams like even North Greenville, the way they stepped up last year, Delta State, Valdosta State, West Alabama, West Georgia, and a school like Mississippi College, which is on its way back up, boy, this is no slouch. This is probably one of the toughest schedules in the country.
Well, there's no doubt about it. This is absolutely, if not the toughest, it certainly is right up there with one or two as the toughest conferences in the country. So it's quite a feat to play a conference-only schedule in this conference and win it. As I say, the accolades will be there at the end of the year if they do that.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, they've gotten plenty of Division I transfers. I believe it's 9 or 10 they've already gotten that transferred in. So it's going to be another good year. They're going to have to replace some guys. Obviously, we've talked to Coach Shinnick, but you know what? They have so much talent coming back. And at this point, we believe in Coach Shinnick, and the players believe in him, and we love him. We're so appreciative to have him here. Hopefully, we can hang on to him for quite some time. But what they've been able to do is just so special. It goes without saying. But, Coach, I want to move over to the NFL side of things. This just broke a few minutes before the show. The Washington, well, you can't call them the Redskins anymore. They have gotten rid of that name. Obviously, if you didn't know that, well, you've been under a rock for a little while. Redskins, or I'll say Washington. It's hard for me to get rid of that. But nonetheless, Washington has been under quite some scrutiny with, of course, a lot of things going on with the sexual harassment controversy, of course, changing the name. Daniel Snyder, some people saying they want him to sell. Daniel Snyder I don't believe is going to sell, obviously. But with everything going on right now, they made the announcement that they are basically going to be called the Washington Football Team this year for 2020. Now, a lot of people are criticizing them. And look, to me personally, I know doing a little research, I found out to be able to create a logo, create new uniforms, and all the things that get involved with that, it takes 8 to 9 months at the very minimum to get that to go through. So for a lot of people to think the name and all this stuff was going to fly right off, get it done in no time at all, I was very skeptical, because when I found that out, this is not just something you snap your fingers and boom, you got it. It's not getting T-shirts for your Little League team where it takes them a week to get it done. This is rebranding an NFL franchise. This is everything. So, Coach, when I hear this, a lot of people obviously upset. Look, I'm not going to get into the whole changing the name type thing, but you know what? With everything going on right now with Washington, I think this is the right move. I don't think you rush anything right now. I think, if anything, take a little time. Maybe let your fans get involved now. You've got an NFL season ahead of you. Maybe kind of let them let you know what they want as well. Kind of play this out a little bit. But, Coach, I really do. I think this was a good move for Washington to not rush into anything here, and I don't think they had a choice. I don't think they could have gotten it done in time.
Well, there's no doubt about that, and I had the same thought when they were talking about changing the name. And so there's no way they're going to have a name done properly before they start the season. It'll just be a placeholder if they do. I think they need to take their time and to properly do it. NFL properties is a huge, huge worldwide business. They sell merchandise all over the world, and a lot of it. And the name, the trademarking, all of the things that go with that name change, they are considerable. Believe me. I know when we changed the color of the Bills helmets back years ago because of the conference having all white helmets, and the conference we changed it to red to give our quarterbacks a little better vision downfield. And but to change that helmet from white to red almost took an act of Congress. And then we had to wait, put in the request to do it, and we had to play a whole season and almost went into another season before they agreed to change the helmet to red. Then we had to put out quite a bit of money for the additional, pamphlets and bailouts and all the things that are required by the National Football League to do anything that is a change to the trademark. So I'm aware of how much it takes to get this done. And you're right. People don't realize what's at stake here.
Yeah, like I said, heard somebody talk about, well, this shouldn't take any time at all. Nike was one that pulled the merchandise off of their website and stuff. Surely they could get this rolling. Well, it's a lot different than just like I said. It's not going, getting your youth league uniforms and taking it to the local shop there and they can get it to you in a week or two. This is something that you're talking about, rebranding something that is worldwide. And if you don't think NFL is popular worldwide, then you're crazy. I'm just going to say that. But yeah, Coach, a lot of people don't realize that you're the one that spearheaded that whole movement to get the helmets changed there. I do want to ask you that on that. I've never actually, I believe, asked you this question. Obviously your players were all for it, but what about the people in the league? They obviously probably understood, but with everybody having white helmets, was there any disagreement to that?
Oh, you had, I'm sure you had some people, that we even had, I think, I got a letter from a wonderful lady up in age who had been a Bills supporter since day one, 1960, when they formed the football team. She'd been a big part of the Bills quarterback club, and she wrote me a very, very nice, eloquent letter on why we would ever change the helmet from white to red and how we should not have done that, and so on. Anyway, you get that kind of thing. There was not a lot of that type approach to it. Most people understood and thought that we were doing something that might be of some significance to our football team, be of interest in helping our quarterbacks. Well, the league, I would have to say, even though they did not say you can't do that, but they don't like the changes. They would rather keep everything pretty much the same. I think they've agreed to quite a few changes here in the last few years as people modernize their logo. For example, the Patriots, from the standard Patriot in a three-point stance, with the hat, all colonial hat, to the more streamlined Patriot symbol that's on the helmet now. It's just one example. So, but it is a big, big process to go through the changing. And it has to be approved now. We have to send in all types of renditions of how this would look with the emblem on there, and any change whatsoever, the background on it, on the emblem, if there were numbers on it, they had to be done. So you had to have a blueprint for a house before you could change a color, much less a name with all of the things that go along with it, a logo and that type thing. It's a big deal.
Yeah, well, Coach, well said. You went through it. You understand a little bit of what's going on here, obviously. And Coach, about the lady that sent you the nice letter, she sounds like a nice lady. But you know what? Today she would have blew up everything on Twitter and Facebook and everything. That's how you do it. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's writing letters anymore.
She and her children and grandchildren.
Yes, she would have started a whole coalition against you. So you know what? Oh, how the times have changed. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But listen, we got to go to a break. Before we go to a break, though, the Pac-12 announced that with the revised schedule, obviously going conference only. I want people to understand, not to panic. I mean, there's nothing panic here. They're going to play football, it looks like anyway. They're going to start in late September, mid to late September. That's when they're going to start their 10-game conference only schedule. And it only makes sense because you cut out a couple games. You don't have to play those first couple weeks, and there you go. That's it's crazy to read the message boards and how everybody's panicking. Oh no, they're moving back. No, they just don't have as many games to play, so they can move back. So anyway, with that being said, the Pac-12 has revised their schedule a little bit. Look, when we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL, talking about masks being mandatory if fans are allowed. I think that should be obvious at this point. The NFL officials likely won't be on the field until week 1. I get your take on that, Coach. And senators urging the NCAA to widen their horizons when it comes to name, image, and likeness. Oh, boy, here we go. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Economic development, better schools, law enforcement, and public safety. Just a few of the issues that are on the minds of residents of Santa Rosa County. Twice a month, we take the time to recap the news events that shape and resolve the issues that affect our daily lives. Join us tonight for Focus on Santa Rosa, a 30-minute look back at the past 2 weeks of local news coverage by ESPN's sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. Focus on Santa Rosa, tonight at 8 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Dan gets so mad that there isn't one dissenting voice.
It's not even that much of a risk, Mike. It's a 6.5.
does that all the time. He doesn't get any credit for it.
No, but no one with credibility dares risk it because they all just want to put stars up next to their name and pick the most obvious possible thing.
Thanks, Dan. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts, 9 till noon, weekdays on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson. This Thursday afternoon, hope you're doing well. We're talking some football with you as always. I'm going to jump right back into it, Coach. The NFL, of course, no surprise here. Once again, I am just saying what's out there. The NFL confirms that masks will be mandatory if fans are allowed. Now, they're working, obviously, to try to get fans allowed. Some places, MetLife Stadium there for the Jets and the Giants said they won't have fans in 2020. So I guess masks aren't needed in the stadium there. But nonetheless, the mask thing to me is an obvious, Coach. I mean, any question. I mean, especially if you want to go to a game, I think the minimum they could ask you to do would be wear a mask. Any problem with that?
No, I don't have any problem with that. I think it's been well established now that masks will reduce the likelihood of this pandemic getting any worse. It's a safeguard. It's not asking that much of people. So I have no problem with it whatsoever, and I think it's a good thing to do. If you're going to have people in your stadium, may as well have a mask on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a no-brainer on that, and there hadn't been a whole lot of pushback. Once again, I think everybody kind of understands and was expecting that, but the NFL now has confirmed that if they allow fans at the stadium, that whatever team you go to, masks will be mandated. That will have to happen. So moving on from that, not going to spend too much time. The NFL officials likely not on the field until Week 1. Now, this is the question when I read this, Coach, thinking of obviously you being a player and a coach in the NFL, understanding now. We know that obviously, officiating crews usually make multi-day visits to training camps where, of course, they explain new rules to players and coaches. They work on their timing, just like players do. Referees got to get in. They got to get in the zone as well. They got to get out there and practice and things like that. They got to, sharpen their senses, sharpen their eyes, all this other stuff. If you ever officiated, whether it's a youth league game or maybe a minor league baseball game or whatever it may be, you understand what they're talking about. And for the NFL, it's a lot harder. You got grown men running all over the field and stuff. So these guys already scrutinized enough as it is. They're trying to be the best they can. But, Coach, I know when you look at this for the NFL officials, did you guys ever, for one, does this truly affect anything that you're doing from the coaching standpoint? Because my question is, did you ever bring the officials in? That way your players can understand, I know it sounds silly, but what they're going to call, especially when you're talking about new players, what they're going to call holding. Maybe a player was in college and was getting away with doing something that in the NFL you can't get away with. Does this affect anything really when you're talking about these NFL teams and the coaching?
Yeah, it's a big advantage to have the officials in, have them go through. They bring tape with them, and you can watch. They have examples of plays that penalties were called on, and the players get to see that. They get to ask questions, and the officials will answer the questions and even demonstrate when necessary. And then to have them at a practice and have them out there calling penalties is a big help to your football team. I really believe that. I think it cuts down on penalties overall for the league. So I wish they could find a way to make that happen, but evidently they're not. I think they'll still have. They will put that burden on the coaches to show they'll have film. I'm sure that they're going to send around each team will have a copy of the film that they want, the NFL wants, shown to the players, and they'll try to do it that way. May even have a virtual type setup, JP, with the officials narrating the tape and whatever. I'm not sure, but they'll have to have some way to emphasize the importance of why certain penalties are going to be called.
That's fair enough. I know, of course, going back in high school, a couple weeks before our first game, our coaches always brought in officials, and that we would scrimmage and things like that and go through practice, and they would call it like they see it. And that coaches necessarily won't call that, obviously, because you're trying to coach and you're not trying to worry about that as much. So I was just interested. That's interesting to see. Hey. So, you know what? Maybe my question wasn't as silly as I thought it was, Coach. That's a first. Nonetheless, going to jump over to the college side of things, Coach. Now, of course, this is something we haven't mentioned a ton. It's starting to rear its head a little bit. Now, we know that Mark Emmert has, of course, reached out to Congress in order with a name, image, and likeness. Now, they want help with this because they understand, I think, kind of where this can go. Members of the Senate Judiciary Committee told NCAA President Mark Emmert and others Wednesday afternoon to broaden the scope of their proposals for major change in college sports if they want Congress to help. Now, of course, the NCAA needs federal assistance to prevent chaos as college sports to continue to move in a direction that would loosen restrictions on how athletes can be compensated. Coach, we know, look, I know that Dan Radakovich, Clemson athletic director there, has presented some plans to allowing athletes to monetize their name, image, and likeness. And to give you an idea, now you take this for whatever you want. I'm just throwing some stats out there for you, some numbers out there. The CEO of Open Doors, Blake Lawrence, who of course is a marketing type company here. So understand when he says this, he's just kind of coming up with some numbers with a lot of different things at stake here. So Justin Fields, to give you an idea, these are top potential earners, could possibly make $1.3 million on his name, image, and likeness. Trevor Lawrence, $1.2. Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma hasn't even taken a snap at Oklahoma as a starter now, $827,000. And they go through from social media to, of course, opportunities for them with commercials and things like this. Coach, my question is not, more along the lines of, what in the world's going on. Is there going to be any way, because to me personally, when I look at the NCAA trying to step in and trying to monetize things and kind of halt these guys, that to me feels like we already talked about the Power 5 possibly leaving. If the NCAA gets in their way, this could be obviously speed up the process here. But is there any way that this is going to, I guess, not corrupt college football to a certain extent of paying for players?
No, as I said before, they've already opened the door to chaos, really. I really see this changing to another world. It's college football, without any question, will become quasi-professional, maybe even full-speed professional. And that's going to present certain problems. For example, if, let's say that this marketing firm is right, I have no reason to believe that they're not. It could be bigger than that. But let's just say the quarterback on their football team makes over $1 million during the season for his image and for doing a little commercial for a product or whatever. And your left guard, your right guard, tackles, they don't make a penny. Not a penny. How do you kind of handle that as a coach? Now, this is you talk about putting a burden on the coaching staff. How do you handle that as a coach when that's allowed to happen? And it's not going to stop there. Once money is introduced to this extent, certainly, there already is intrusion, but it's going to be even more so now. You're going to have agents, attorneys, any number of people that will get in on this money full of money to athletes and young athletes at that. So it's going to look even better. I just see so many things that are going to happen that are going to be a big, big distraction to college football, which never should have happened. But it is. And I think we can just get ready for it. And you're going to see more and more and more when they start talking about, you'll say one day, I remember the day that I saw a projection of $1.2 million to a quarterback. And at the time that you say that, the quarterbacks will be making $5-6 million.
You're right.
So anyway, I don't like it, never have, still don't like it, and I wish we could return to the pure amateur sport that we know, but unfortunately I think Pandora's box is open.
Yeah, I agree. Once again, it's fighting it seems, not pointless. It's never pointless if you believe in it, but like it's a lost cause at this point. I've said if we're going to do this, it needs to be across the board. I understand, whatever it is, what it is. I understand, but I don't understand at the same time. I agree with you, Coach. And I said before, I played a couple years at UWF playing baseball and then transferred to University of Mobile. And the care, the medical care, the education, which people forget about the education. The education was important to me. I got a bachelor's degree out of it, and I didn't pay anything. And I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to get that opportunity from the meal plans to the, like I said, medical care. I got the greatest medical care out there. I got all this stuff taken care of. I mean, I can't complain. It put me in a good situation. So with that being said, when I did some rough numbers, and I lowballed it, to be honest with you, it was between $150,000 and $200,000 that I got in my 4 years. The care and everything that I got, what it was worth. And that's awesome. That's at a small, like UWF being Division II, and then Mobile being NAIA over there. So you think of these Division I's, and I'm not saying, obviously this affects a small group of people, not everybody. Right now, when we're talking about Trevor Lawrence's and Justin Fields, what this will expand into, and people need to understand, Coach, is like what you were talking about. Now we're going to go out and we're going to bid for guys. When we're talking about recruits, we're talking about high schoolers. You're going to give a high schooler maybe a $250,000. Like, hey, all right, for my dealership, you got a big alumni or a millionaire guy that's doing this. Hey. And I know some of this stuff, let's be honest, some of this stuff goes on behind the scenes to a certain extent, but now you're making it legal, which you're talking about agents will be involved, which is scary to high school kids, scary to 17-year-olds that are trying to make a decision on where they should go. I understand. If you're going to do that, then just make it semi-pro football and move on. Like, let's just X the whole NCAA thing. Let's get out of here. We're not students anymore. We're not worried about any of that. Let's just move on. I mean, that's what it's coming to. That's what I'm worried about. And anybody that says other, I would be hard-pressed to hear your argument, because I don't understand how this is going to be a positive in the long run. I understand they're students, and they basically bring this money in for of course, the universities and things like that. But let's not act like they're not getting anything, like they're making minimum wage and all this. Just throwing that out there. It is what it is. The numbers are what they are, but you're not going to fool me. Like I said, I've been through it. I understand all the perks you get as a student athlete, and I'm sure a lot of student athletes that have gone through it, if you're listening, and Coach, you went to the University of Florida. You understood even then what you got, things that nobody else has ever gotten. So the care and everything that goes along with it, it's just something that sits on me pretty tough on my heart, and I just wanted to say that for other people, because all we're hearing is, well, these athletes are being forced to go out there and play football. These athletes aren't being forced to go out and play during the pandemic. They have an opportunity to sit out. Just much like if you are not comfortable going to your job, then you don't have to go to your job. But there are ramifications that go along with it, but we're all in this thing. So nobody's being forced to do anything, and these students are allowed to speak like they've never been able to speak before. And we're saying that we're forcing them to do something? Get out of here. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it when we're coming to a point where just if somebody disagrees with somebody else, somebody can lose their job just because they don't agree with you wholeheartedly. Or guys that have been nothing but great for their entire career get ridiculed because they say, I just don't agree with what you're doing, and that's it. When they've done nothing but be kind in their heart with their actions and everything. That's what it's coming to. That's why I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying into this. These guys, like $1.3 million, like you said, Coach, you're right. I'll look back at it and I'll go, oh, well, the quarterbacks today are getting $5 or $6 million. That's what it's coming to. And for these high school athletes, I mean, you know what? It is what it is, but it's going to be a bidding war, to say the very least. And the sad part about this is these smaller schools are already behind the 8 ball as it is, and they're going to just slowly trickle away with this because they will never get any of these guys, not even close. And you know what? It is what it is. I've been on my soapbox long enough, but look, I know we got to go to break, Coach. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what Bill Carr had mentioned yesterday, the Football Oversight Committee. Of course, they're supposed to meet tomorrow. Whether they'll determine that they will sponsor or postpone the Fall Sport Championships, we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about some under-the-radar stories in the NFL this offseason coming up. Guys like Gronkowski, what do we expect out of them? The Bears situation with the quarterback. But we know we got tons of Bears fans around here. We'll talk a little bit about that and more right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola. Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
200 South is home to World of Beer, Graffiti Pizza, Taco Agave, and Blend Lounge, and they invite you to a blood drive on Thursday, July 30th. Join the 200 South family to help give back to the community by stopping by the Big Red Bus parked on site from noon until 6 p.m. The need for donors is so great, and your donation can make a huge difference. 200 South will thank all donors with BOGO Graffiti Pizza Slices or BOGO Taco Agave Taco Cards. Check out all the details on the 200 South Facebook page.
Head Start and VPK are open for enrollment to children age 4 on or before September 1st. These programs help maximize a child's potential, and Head Start provides free medical and family services for qualifying applicants. For more information on Head Start, call the Community Action Program Committee at 844-356-8137. For more information on VPK services, please call the Early Learning Coalition at 850-595-5915.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. Talking some football with you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you joining the show with us. And, Coach, I know we talked to Bill Carr yesterday. What a great interview, by the way. A lot of people that were pretty excited to hear. Look, we got some inside information on that. And one of the things, too, that, of course, now is popping up, he broke it yesterday, but the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, along with, of course, the majority of the Collegiate Commissioners Association, which includes 32 Division I conferences, have expressed strong opposition to the possibility that, of course, the NCAA's Board of Governors will consider canceling or postponing fall sports championships during its Friday meeting. With that being said, now, of course, the letter goes on to talk about the Board of Governors. Basically, Bill Carr mentioned that they are thinking about postponing it or even canceling it. Now, he said, Bill Carr made sure that we understood that this does not affect Division I football for FBS. The college football playoff is not sanctioned technically or come under the jurisdiction there of the NCAA. It's its own body. So we'll still have it as long as college football is being played. Obviously, we'll have a champion with that. This affects, of course, FCS. This affects Division II, Division III, things like that. Other, of course, Division I championships and all, so on and so forth. But, Coach, when you look at this, he said also, he reminded us, make this very clear, I don't want to take him out of context on this, but they may postpone this to August. Now, when you look at this, Coach, I'll be honest with you. What a bold move it would be for the NCAA Board of Governors to cancel or postpone the fall sports championships, with the possibility of even trying to move them to the spring. Coach, I don't know. I think that would be a very bold step moving forward. I don't think it's going to happen, but you know what? I don't know. What say you on this, Coach?
Yeah, I would agree. It's just that you never know what the NCAA, especially when you get that many people involved in the decision-making process. Unfortunately, many times, you end up with with no decision. There's never been. Just remember this: there's never been a monument or a statue made for a committee. For individuals, yes, many, but never for a committee. And unfortunately, that's what you get. Now, I don't think that they would gain much favor by canceling or not giving these kids a chance to play for a championship. I would hope they would. And again, don't worry about Division I. Don't worry about the Alabamas and LSUs and Floridas and Georgias and Notre Dame and Ohio State now. All the Division I teams will play for a national championship, as they should. And I just don't think it's fair for the other kids who are going to put in as much work, as much time as anybody, not to have that opportunity to play for a big championship type situation, which is huge for these kids.
Yeah, I agree, and that affects, of course, our UWF Argos and Coach Shinnick and those guys. So, look, I agree with you. If they're playing football, and they should have an opportunity. If they're playing volleyball or basketball or whatever sport it is in the fall, if you're allowed to play it, I think there should be an opportunity to play for a championship. Now, with that being said, of course, that would not stop people like UWF from playing their regular schedule that they have. But here again, it would prevent them from obviously moving on to the playoffs and things like that because there would be no playoffs. So I agree with you. I think they would not be in very much favor. But the committee statement you made right there, that is absolutely true. Could not have said it better myself, Coach. There's no truer of a statement than that. Statues of individuals, but not committees. Yes, you're right. And that's what we don't know what's going to happen. The NCAA, coin toss. I mean, we're hoping it doesn't happen, but nonetheless, tomorrow they're going to meet. They may not make that decision. Bill Carr made that clear. They may defer that to August to kind of let time play out a little bit more. We'll see. Going to be really interesting. The NCAA, Mark Emmert, has not necessarily been in favor regardless. But anyway, Coach, moving on to some NFL headlines here. Look, we talk about some under-the-radar things going on with training camps. Of course, the guys are now showing up. Of course, with the rookies, I believe everybody else is going to show up on the 28th. So some of these guys are getting acclimated to, how it is for the NFL. And for a lot of these, rookies and undrafted free agents, they may not be there very long. As remember, we reported yesterday that the NFL cut down the rosters to 80 there. So that's going to be interesting. Makes it even tougher for these guys. So, Coach, with that being said, though, my first question that was presented to me, and this was a friend of mine that, of course, is a big Tampa fan. Rightfully so. They're coming out of the woodworks now. But, Coach, when you look at the Tampa Bay Bucks, now we know Tom Brady. We know, of course, Evans and those guys, Chris Godwin. We know O.J. Howard. Cameron Brate, which, by the way, Cameron Brate, remember that name because I really think Cameron Brate is going to be, outside of Rob Gronkowski, the standout tight end. There's been a lot of problems with O.J. Howard, of course, with Bruce Arians. Has even kind of called him out before that he was underperforming. Now, I know Tom Brady changes all that, but at the same time, Cameron Brate has always been that go-to tight end, a really good pass-catching tight end that I think Tom Brady will like a lot. But nonetheless, Coach, the question was asked, when you look at Rob Gronkowski, can we expect him to kind of return to his 2017 form? He's been out, obviously, when you look at his stats in 2018, he caught just 47 passes, 682 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That was the lowest of his career, especially when you, of course, factor in he played less than 10 games due to injury. And with those injuries, we know those were back injuries. We know, of course, in 2017, he had a good year. Obviously, first-team All-Pro. Is a little bit different of a guy. But when you're talking about a big-bodied, bruising tight end like that, it's a lot different than those quick receivers or maybe a quarterback that, hasn't been touched a whole lot, things like that. When you're talking about a guy that is going to initiate contact, when you look at Gronkowski, I think a couple questions that was asked. Will he be an every down player, which I think we've covered before, but I'll ask you that. And then do you see him having a really good year this year?
I do see him having a good year. I think what they're probably looking at with Gronkowski is utilizing what is referred to by many now as the pitch count type approach, where he's just deadly inside the 20-yard line, get down around the goal line. He's such a factor there. Plus the fact that he's a good blocker anywhere he's on the field, and you have to be able to run as well as throw down there to be effective. So I could see him really specializing in that, and also third down situations. Brady's going to want him in the ballgame. Now, Brady's going to have a lot to do with this, and don't ever think differently. Brady will have a big impact on how much Gronkowski plays. And he's going to be for keeping him healthy and fresh as well. He's certainly going to be, but he's going to want him in the ball game, especially if they're in let's say they're playing the Saints or the Falcons, teams in their division that they've got to beat. I think you're going to see Gronkowski in more situations in those ball games than maybe you would in some other ball games. But it's going to be a collective effort there as to how much he plays and in what situations he plays. But I think they'll use a pitch count on him. I don't think they're going to put him out there to play 60 offensive plays in every ball game. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show, Coach. I think we both agree on that with that statement. He is, like we said, a red zone target type guy, big play type guy. I just can't imagine, especially when you're talking about your back. Your back is the injuries that worry me the most, because anybody that's injured their back before, growing up, my father always told me, lift with your legs, because once you mess your back up, it never goes away, and that's true. I did not listen to him. I played through a lot of injuries through football, and I still have some of those pain, some of that pain in my back that never goes away, especially when cold weather. But nonetheless, that's where I look at some of that, and that's where I kind of question. Nonetheless, we know that, look, Gronk is he had a year off. That's good. He had some rest. He's looking good. But at the same time, playing in the NFL and looking good and feeling good are two different things. Nonetheless, Coach, before we go to break, one of the other questions that was brought up to me, of course, a big-time LSU fan, a friend of our family's, was asking about Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow, of course, it was funny when we were talking about it, said Joe Burrow basically revitalized their whole fandom of LSU. They love LSU. Their family goes to games, but they've just kind of been, it's been a long time, kind of drawn-out process. But with Joe Burrow and what they did last year, it was just so special. I think everybody knows that, and nobody can question that. One of the greatest seasons ever, if not the greatest season in college football history when you look at it. But the question was, will Joe Burrow have instant success? And that was something when they meant by that is when you look at Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, we know the offensive line's not great. They have some offensive weapons around him. I mean, they do. Getting A.J. Green back and some of those other guys, as well as Joe Mixon, they have some offensive help. Now, the defense needs some help, obviously, but when you look at Joe Burrow, Coach, he is obviously the man in Cincinnati right now. And with this being said, they wanted to preface by saying instant success does not mean like going out and being MVP, but it's moving this team forward and obviously being able to see a difference in the Cincinnati Bengals. Are we going to see that out of Joe Burrow, or are we possibly going to see – because the record doesn't really matter. They want to make that clear. Even guys like Peyton Manning have struggled. But when you look at the team overall, is this team going to take a significant step forward this year? Are you going to be able to see that significant step forward with Joe Burrow?
Well, significant step. Everything is that's subjective as can be. Significant step for Cincinnati would be just to have some continuity and being able to effectively move the football and be able to convert in key third down situations and so on. They plus the defense is going to have a lot to do with that because they've got to play better defensively than they have been played. Offense, I think certainly Joe Burrow, and I've said this before, and I sincerely mean it, I think he is the most NFL-ready quarterback that I've seen in a long, long time, if not ever. He is going to be a good to excellent NFL quarterback. Now, this year, it's unfortunate because the off-season would have helped him quite a bit, and what you get done in the off-season that they weren't able to do this year. The preseason games not being played are going to be a deterrent to his development. So you just start adding things together, JP, and it's unfortunate that he's not going to have all those advantages that he would have at other times. But I think given all that, we will see by the end of the year, something very special with that Cincinnati football team because of Joe Burrow.
I 100% agree, and it's because, look, what Zach Taylor and those guys are doing, he's trying to rebuild. He's trying to get some of the guys that have caused problems in the past out. He's coming in, he's trying to basically revamp that franchise, which some coaches are obviously right now trying to do the same thing. We're talking about Matt Rule over in Carolina. You look at Ron Rivera and the work he's got cut out for him in Washington. So, look, I like what they're doing. Joe Burrow, I agree with you, Coach. He is going to be a lot of fun. He fits that style of offense. When you look at the weapons they have at receiver position alone, he is not coming into this with the cupboard bare. I mean, you look at a guy like Jarrett Stidham or Cam Newton over in New England, and the cupboard's fairly bare outside of Julian Edelman. And we'll see what happens with the guys in their second year over there. But Tom Brady last year had about 0% help outside of Edelman, and all people were doing was starting to double him after a while, and we saw the difference in it. And anyway, with that being said, I just if the offensive line can figure out and get a little bit better, I think there's going to be a big progressive step. Now, I think they will look a lot better, but with that being said, I mean, you're putting up against the worst team last year is what they were, and they looked horrible at that. So nonetheless, I agree with you, Coach. I think we will see a step forward, and Joe Burrow's the guy. We know that he's their quarterback starting out. But listen, we got to go to a quick break. When we come back, Mike Zimmer finalizing an extension with the Vikings. We'll talk about that Vikings team real quick, and if that's a good move for the Vikings moving forward. All that more coming back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
From first take to your radio. Some players going to get less because Patrick Mahomes got more. Now, Mahomes is such a good dude and such a team player, and also from a selfish point of view, I'm sure wants to win lots of Super Bowls, that he did not sign the kind of deal that hamstrings the team going forward. He signed the kind of deal that will allow the team to be very competitive around him and because of his greatness likely win more Super Bowls.
1 till 2, weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. Final segment of the show, a couple minutes left here, Coach. We'll jump right into this. Now, Mike Zimmer, obviously, when you talk about the Vikings coach there, he's done a good job. I think it's obvious that team is, to me personally, the team to look out for. They're getting better and better. I like Kirk Cousins. I like, of course, Stephon Diggs. You basically traded Stephon Diggs in for Justin Jefferson, a guy that I think is going to be an absolute dynamic receiver for him and makes your locker room a lot better as well. They still have Dalvin Cook. They have a good offensive line there. The defense isn't what it used to be, that hard-hitting defense, but nonetheless, it's a good team. Coach, when you look at this with Mike Zimmer, them of course signing an extension, he has a 59-41 record, including playoffs. He's the third winningest coach in Vikings history behind Dennis Green and legendary Bud Grant, obviously. Like we said, the defense has been among the best units since 2014. They've never ranked lower than 11th in points per game allowed, but they're not the same defense we remember a few years ago. But nonetheless, Coach, when you look at this Minnesota team, my question is, with Mike Zimmer, I like Mike Zimmer as a coach. I think he's done a good job. I wouldn't put him in the elite category, obviously, but there's a lot of good NFL coaches, and for a guy like that, finalizing an extension is good to hang on to him. But, Coach, this team, this Minnesota team, is this a team you could see right now with everything that they've added, obviously, possibly overtaking the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I've said numerous times I like Minnesota. I like them a lot, and I think Zimmer's done a good job up there. Defensively, they're schematically they're well coached and come prepared for the opponent they're going to play. I think he gives them an advantage. And I like Kirk Cousins. They can say what they want to about him. And many of the scouts that I've talked to say that the exchange they made at the receiver position is really a plus for Minnesota. They like Jefferson more than their trade. So anyway, I think Minnesota's a good football team. They're in the running, and they did the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Coach. Look, I'm excited, and seeing some of the workout video. I know it's all we have to go off right now is workout videos and things like that, throwing with the quarterbacks. Justin Jefferson, boy, you know how dynamic he was at LSU. Yeah, he's going to be so much fun to watch. But nonetheless, look, Coach, that sound means it's time for us to go. We didn't get to everything, but you know what, Coach? It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, we enjoyed it as always. Look forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely, Coach. Appreciate it, Coach, and appreciate our listeners out there as well. We appreciate you guys joining us right here on Talk Football with Coach K. We'll be back tomorrow, same time right here, talking some football with you on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
With Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
I'm Doug Brown. 134 days. That's how long it's been since major North American sports shut down back in March. Tonight, baseball is back with a doubleheader at 7 Eastern on ESPN. The Nationals hosting the Yankees. Then the Dodgers host the Giants. ESPN's Jeff Passan says the players have plenty of incentive to follow health protocols.
In order to play and get paid, you gotta stay healthy. If this whole thing gets shut down, then, they don't get their money.
Jeff Passan on the ESPN Daily Podcast. We'll also have Yankees and Nationals here on ESPN Radio, starting at 6 Eastern. The Mets have now lost 2 pitchers from their rotation. Marcus Stroman with a torn muscle in his left calf. Noah Syndergaard already out for the season after Tommy John surgery. Over the next 7 weeks, the Washington NFL team will officially retire the Redskins name and branding. Until a new nickname is chosen, the team will be known as the Washington Football Team.
Whether you're taking on the trail or your terrace, your deck or your dock, Nature Valley Crunchy Granola Bars will help you make the most of your outdoor time. Because a Crunchy Bar tastes like summer wherever you are.
We've got some announcement, at least some understanding of what's next for the Washington football team. It may not be enough, but at least it's the next step as we get continual reports on what's happening in Washington. First Take, Your Take, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, ESPN News. I'm Jason Fitz. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. You guys have slammed the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, and you know I love it. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. That's the way you can get on the conversation. A lot of you want to chime in. For anyone that hasn't heard the news as of the latest update from today is that the Washington NFL team will use Washington Football Team for the 2020 season. That's right. That will be their name for this season. So effective immediately, again, this is according to Adam Schefter this morning, Washington will call itself the Washington Football Team pending the adoption of a new name. So that is not their permanent new name. The franchise is just announcing that over the next 50 days, their goal is over the next 50 days, by the September 13th regular season opener against the Eagles, they will have gotten rid of the previous nickname on all physical and digital spaces during that time. So they won't have any change to their color scheme. They will still use burgundy and gold. The logo on the helmet will be replaced by each player's number in gold. So the Washington Football Team will debut its home uniforms, at least in theory, week 1 against the Eagles, and the road uniforms week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals. So they'll use these. It will be they'll begin the process, or continue the process, I should say, of finding a new permanent name, but fans will be able to purchase Washington Football Team merch from Fanatics and NFL Shop in the coming days. So that's the next step, as they don't have any, looks like, pending announcement of what the actual long-term nickname will be, but they don't need it for now. They'll go into this season using Washington Football Team. We've been breaking that conversation down quite a bit. I'll take some of your take on it. Tristan in Pittsburgh, I always love it when you call. Tristan, what's your take?
Hey, Jason. So my take is actually on the augmented reality, but here's what I will say about the Washington Football Team. I think, honestly, they should be forced to keep it indefinitely as long as Dan Snyder is majority owner for taking so long to revert back from the Washington racial slurs, which they held for the past however many years. However, my take is actually on the augmented reality and all the fake fans in the stands that we're going to have here in baseball games. I think it either has to be perfect, it has to be funny, or you can't do it at all. And here's my reason why. The reason is that as awkward as it is to have no fans in the stands, it's going to be even more awkward if we have bad fake fans in the stands or fans that don't look realistic. They're going to be even more distracting. However, I am here for this. Imagine if Aaron Judge is in right field and drops a routine pop fly, and then Fox cuts over to just this very aggressive fake New Yorker booing him with every fiber of his virtual being. I am completely here for that, and I would love to see something like that. But don't do it if it's not going to be funny or perfect.
Tristan, you're totally right about that. I mean, I like the experiment of the concept of digital fans in the stands for sure. I think it can be fun, but you're right. It either has to be funny or it has to be incredibly well done. And give me booing people all day long. I mean, I'm in for that. I think it could be a hysterical way to watch it. Now, the timing of the Washington football team change has been part of the conversation today, and obviously something that I've clapped back a little bit with some of the points that were made on First Take. Alan in North Carolina. Alan, you want to chime in with your thoughts. What's your take on the Washington football team name? Alan, we got you going once, going twice. Trying to get Alan. Well, hopefully we can get Alan to come back in when he calls back in, because part of what I said earlier, Max Kellerman has been, he's been, let's say, heated on this conversation today. I want you to hear what they said. And this is Adam Schefter, Marcus Spears, and Max Kellerman today talking about the announcement that Washington's going to go to the Washington football team, because I think as much as they're right about some, there's a timing issue that's simply being ignored. This is what they said today on First Take.
Washington is going to go with an interim name during the 2020 season. It will call itself the Washington Football Team. And over the course of the next 50 days, Washington officially will be retiring the Redskins name, removing it from all physical and digital spaces. It will be going with the Washington Football Team. That will be the name of the team while it solicits the opinions of players, alumni, fans, customers, sponsors, the community, to try to see what it should be using for a nickname in the future. But with the season getting ready to get underway, with players getting ready to go to training camp at this point in time, they had to effectuate the change. And so the change had to go in. The NFL is putting out books with teams' names. And so the team has chosen Washington Football Team